Good evening, everybody. It's Pastor Sherman Ray, and this is Christ and Culture. I want to welcome you all to the broadcast. Hope everybody's doing really well. And I know, everybody's going, man, you're in a different place right now. Yeah, I'm in my home my home studio, and I know things look a little different, but it's all still pretty much the same. I want to welcome you all to the broadcast, and I want to welcome all those folks who have been waiting for us on our YouTube channel. I'm going to actually open that up really quick here right now. And if you're watching us, some folks have noticed that we've actually changed over to our new YouTube station, and I want to make sure that all those folks that have been waiting for that, we've got a few people that have already joined that page, and it's and I'm going to go there really quick here and give you the URL and all that other stuff for it. So it is it's the Christ and Culture channel, and there it goes. So it's Christ and Culture Show. Okay, so Christ and Culture. So you can go to Christ and Culture, but if you put in Christ and Culture Show, you'll actually get it really quick. And so that will be there from now on. I'm very excited about being there. And I'm more excited about the topic for today because there's so much craziness going on in the world today. I don't know if we should. I don't know if it's going to get any better, to tell you the truth. But I do know I've got some crazy things. Before we go over there, I'm looking at my other monitor here, and I'm seeing that some of the stuff that's on there is just a little wonky. So I'm going to move it over while we're getting a chance to talk. So for some of you folks that this might be your first time checking out the show, I'm Pastor Sherman Ray, and this is Christ and Culture Show. And one of the things that we do is we talk about all the things that are going on in the culture, and from a Christian perspective. You can actually check us out on Christ and Culture Show on our YouTube channel. You can go to us on our Godstream TV channel. We're also on Spotify and on the last one, and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So that's it. Those are the ones that we're on right there. And so I want to welcome onto the broadcast our co-host on the show. It's Tommy Allums. Pastor Tommy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Pastor Sherman. How are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Things been going well with you and the missus?
Yes, doing well. Everything's going good.
Yeah, we tried to get you guys out to dinner this weekend, and you guys are just busy.
Well, it wasn't that. It's the babysitting situation got turned upside down.
Oh my gosh, I know. Well, you know what? Next time, because we've got some new recipes too. So I'm going to share some new recipes with you, and we'll be able to break bread together. I'm looking really forward to doing something like that with you. Anything else new going with you?
No. Let's see. I got a Dallas trip. We just kind of nailed down for a gathering in Dallas we're going to be doing next month. Uploaded some more videos for YouTube, Flaming Word LV on YouTube. Yeah. So I've been pretty busy, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have. I'll tell you, that's great. And looking really forward to seeing more and more of that stuff going up all the time. Yes. There's been a lot of crazy stuff going on in America, though. I'll tell you, that's something that people have, I don't know if people have been watching this and keeping up with what's going on, but this is, I don't know, this week, kind of give everybody an overview of what's happened this week. That President Trump, Doge, Elon Musk, we've got, what's the name of Ukraine. If there's not been, I don't think there's been a day that nothing new has happened in this world that has just been crazy. Especially, let's talk about Doge first. Okay, let's talk about Doge and its effect. So here's the thing that let's talk about just a minute. Elon Musk has been tasked with going through the federal government and going through and line by line, I's, T's, that kind of stuff, and looking for waste, fraud, and abuse. And and so he's been finding it. I mean, he's not just finding a few of it; he's been finding a lot of it. And people are upset about this. And so there's actually a group of Christians that are finding the same thing. They're saying, "Hey, guess what? They're cutting our projects too, and we're upset about it." And I don't know, Pastor Tommy, when I hear about waste, fraud, and abuse, and people trying to remedy this, it's sometimes you're going to throw out the baby with the bathwater. But at the end of the day, maybe some of those projects come back. So what do you say to churches, though, that get so entangled, so entrenched in the state and state money that now they're upset because now their money is being affected? I mean, give me your feedback on something like that.
Yeah. No pain, no gain. I mean, in order to get the gain, there's got to be some pain. And you just nailed it. People are upset because, well, let's look at this country. This entire country as a whole is in debt, not just as a nation, but the population, a majority of the population is up to their eyeballs in debt. And I know this because I work with debt. I help people get into debt to buy homes, right? And so I see so much debt. And when people pay off their debt, guess what they do? They go and get more debt. So the mentality of a lot of people is to be in debt. And it's just a reflection of the leadership of this country over the years. And so because people have that debt mentality, they're not looking to cut spending. They're not looking to budget. And so if they were to cut out, let's say, eating out for a month, they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And so that same mentality is bleeding over into the government or vice versa. And so people don't understand cut. Cut hurts. But in order to get to where you want to go, there has to be some cuts. Now back to the churches. And I read the article. And a lot of those churches are helping overseas populations. So the whole point is to bring the money back to this country. We're in debt, trillions of dollars. We got to trim it some kind of how. Yes, it's going to hurt. But get this. All these churches that cry the separation of church and state, don't take the money. Right. Yeah. Go make your own money and have people donate and you do it. Sure. Don't rely on the government. That's backwards as far as I'm concerned when it comes to the church, because the church should be doing that already without the help of the government. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. I really do. Because unfortunately, you've got a church that has become more like the world than we need to be. I mean, we really do. Yes. We get so entrenched in this stuff. The word says that we're to be in the world, but not of the world, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, what's happening with the church, though, the church is just like the world. I mean, we're neck deep in the things of the world. And so for a pastor to go around going, well, you know what? We need to slow down on this because we're getting that money from. I go, guys, God. Do they trust God? That's what I'm wondering. No. Do they trust God to do what they're supposed to do? I, myself, am part of the budget cuts that are happening with as a result of the education department and everything else, because I work in a school. And I told my church about this too, and I said, guys, I've been so blessed by God over the last, 4 or 5 years, that even if the Lord said today you're going to get half of your pay, I'm still ahead. God is to continue to bless, but I know God, and God will continue to bless my ministry and to continue to bless my family. So am I crying because the Lord, because my job allowed an hour of my day to be taken away? No, I'm not doing that at all. Matter of fact, now that gives me even more time now to do this, like the stuff we're doing right now. It gives me more time to pray. It gives me more time to do ministry. I look at this as an opportunity, and maybe these church folks, who are doing overseas stuff, maybe they should look at this as an opportunity for the children of God, for the church to actually come up and wean them off of the teat of the government.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And why not help the population here?
Yeah. Yeah. We
That's a
probably need
thought.
as we need it as much as anybody else. I'll tell you. My gosh. So there was, I was looking for this article because really one of the things that I'm really kind of scared about is that the blowback that Elon Musk is getting as a result of this whole thing. Now he's the founder of Tesla, and he does SpaceX and he does X and there's all this stuff. And people are threatening his life. They're coming after him and stuff like that. Now here's the scary thing about it. He is not taking a payroll. He's not taking a check. None of his guys that are coming through the federal government and doing their stuff, none of them are getting paid to do this. They're doing it because they believe that we are in dire need of, some reforms in our country. And yet Democrats are coming after these guys with teeth baring and forks. So Tesla dealerships are being torched across America. People are going in there with guns. People are torching these Tesla trucks and everything else. Now here's the thing about it. Democrats have fanned the flame of hatred for Elon Musk doing a noble thing for our country, and they could stop all this, but they refuse to. Pastor Tommy, there's something wrong here. I mean, these people are supposed to be compassionate. They're just such compassionate people. These folks are going to get somebody killed because they are. And so, one, why do you think these people are so against Elon Musk?
Oh, because he's in their wallet. All these all these fake accounts and everything that he's finding out is benefiting them. They it's heartless to see. Going back to last week, not standing for a kid with cancer.
Yeah.
Not standing for the mom who lost her daughter. I mean, that just goes to show how hard people's hearts can be, because it's all about self and what I can get, what I can do. You're in my wallet, you're in my room, and so I don't like it. I want you to get out now. If not, there's going to be some problems, and that's basically the message.
Yeah. And there's these folks are now these folks have gone a little foul. There was an article. I didn't send this to you, but I know you keep up with a lot of this stuff. If you've noticed over the last number of years, the Democrats have been getting just kind of vile. And recently they took out this campaign where they're just starting to say the F word. They're using the S word. And here's the thing about it is I something got my head think. I'm thinking, wait, this is nothing new. As a matter of fact, they did this before. And so I looked up whether or not when the Democrats started cussing so much, because they've got this one lady, her name is Crockett. She's the new face of the Democrat Party, African-American woman, and she is just using F-bombs all over the place. I mean, just F-bombs every place. And they're saying that they're trying to connect with the Trump voter. And I'm going, wait a minute, I don't know too many Trump voters that are into F-bombs. Matter of fact, the evangelical right, those in the church, are the majority of people who are Trump supporters or conservative voters. So where they get this idea that that this is something that Republicans or conservatives are into, I just don't know where they get this from. So you've probably heard this. You've heard them using the curse word a lot. I mean, what does that tell you about what's going on in the hearts of these folks?
Well, yeah, it just paints the color. It's getting dark. there's some people who use foul language every day, it's just a part of their life. But if you are in a professional setting, it's not typical for everybody to just run around and do that unless there's anger. If it's coming across like that, then it's anger issues. Because people, when they get angry, then that's what comes out, whatever's on the inside. And so we're starting to see, uh, a lot of us are starting to see what's really driving, that movement. It's just, it's heartbreaking to see, and a lot of people can get hurt. I heard of a journalist getting killed the other day because he exposed something.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just darkness. It's just a darkness. So there was an
Very
article.
dark.
Now, let me share with you this article. This article is actually dated 2019. This is like 6 years ago, right? 6 years ago. This is from The Hill, and it's the title of this. It says "F-bombs away: Why lawmakers are cursing now more than ever." This is in 2019. It's Judy Kurtz wrote this in October of 2019. She said, "For lawmakers and political candidates, 2019 could be the year of not giving a F about cursing." It says profanity, once considered a major no-no among those seeking political office, is no longer an earth-shattering snafu. And according to new research, okay, they're researching this whole thing, this year could be on track to see members of Congress swearing up a storm more than ever before. And here's the thing about it. Not only are Democrats swearing up a storm, but they're doing it in coordinated fashion. That's the scary thing about
Yes.
it. They do a video
Yes.
where everybody's just cussing up a storm, and I'm thinking, here, this is how you know it's not sincere. They got to some focus group, and some focus group goes, "Yeah, those are a bunch of redneck conservatives out there. They like that. They like chewing tobacco and cussing." And I'm going, when I hear somebody cursing, using profanity-laced speech, even words you can't even put together. I hear kids do this whole. I said, that word doesn't even work with that word. How do you put those two together? Do you even know what you're saying? There was a lady who came on, and she says, "Oh, I'm not really good at cursing, but we've got to bleep Trump."
I heard that.
And I said, "Lady, why, if you don't curse, then don't do it. Why do you do it?" Well, it's because they have this thought process. They're like lemmings, and it's called the hive mentality. If one person says it, it goes down, it filters down to the whole hive. Now they're all doing it, and I guess they think they're going to go viral with this. The only problem with it is it's instead of it being like Trump. So Trump did this thing. Remember, he did the dance. He was at his rallies.
Yeah.
Okay, and everybody kind of thought that was so cute. He's just doing his little dance, right? And then it caught on. Other people are doing it, okay? And those things happen like that. They're viral moments, right? Democrats seem to, and here's the thing about it, is that they are fun. Those are fun moments that, conservatives have and stuff like that. Well, Democrats seem to think that they're going to create the same kind of viral moment by coordinating cursing, right? And I go, guys, it doesn't work that way. You don't create viral moments. It happens. It's spontaneous.
Right.
But theirs is to the negative. There's F Trump. I'm going, oh my, you guys do know you guys are going to start incite a riot, don't you? Maybe even somebody tried to assassinate the president.
Yeah.
That is what they've done to Elon Musk. It comes back to Elon Musk.
Yes.
So they are creating a viral thing with Elon Musk. Somebody's going to get hurt. And that's my fear.
I can see how persecution is going to come to the church with what you just said.
Yeah.
Because it's happening all around the world. I don't know if you just saw what happened in Syria. There's hundreds of Christians.
Yes.
murdered, and it's an inciting a riot. That is a movement that is at work in this country, and that will be the very thing that will cause persecution to come here in this country, and we can see how close we are, because all it's going to take an instant.
Yeah,
it's going to take an instant. We've been waiting for policies to come and say, "Oh, no more Christianity." Well, I don't think we're going to have to wait that long.
I don't think so either. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we're going off the rails here a little bit, Pastor Tommy. I know I'm going to be talking about a few things I didn't. So normally, I would send you some stuff, but there's so much stuff that's happened in the last week. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders went on I guess he's going on a nationwide tour. So he's going around. He's talking about this, that, and the other thing. Well, he's got he has a couple of thousand people that show up. An 83-year-old coot, and he's doing his thing. Well, he's got this trans punk rocker. I don't know if you heard about this. A trans punk rocker who opened up his rally. And this person, oh my gosh. Some of the stuff that this person... Now, have you gotten a chance to hear this person?
No, I don't know who it is.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The trans punk rocker, his name is Laura Jane Grace. Laura Jane Grace. And, gosh, do I have the... So, here's profanity-laced punk rock, talking about God. Talking about your God has a penis, and your God wants to stick it here, and blah, 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 blah. And now the blowback on this is tremendous. It is profoundly
profane,
offensive. And here's the thing about it. This is not the first time Bernie Sanders has had this person open up for him. See, he did it years ago. And now this person is continuing, because people were saying, oh no, Bernie had nothing to do with this. No. This was not the first time Bernie Sanders even knows who this person is. When Democrats get to the point now where they're doing the whole transgender thing, they would rather fight for, people are saying this now, it's a 10% thing. Well, in the case of transgenders, it's a 1% thing. They're fighting against 99% of America, the American people's will, to push an agenda. My question to you is this, Pastor Tommy. The whole transgender movement, the woke movement, are what they call 90-10 issues, which means 90% or 80-20. They are 80% offensive, and people don't want to see this. And yet Democrats are pushing this. Why do you think Democrats are pushing this 20%, 10% issues like transgenderism, like wokeism? Why do you think they're trying to push these on the American people rather than focusing on what the American people want as a people?
Because they want to control. It all comes down to control. They want to control, and they know over time, they keep pushing over time. After a generation or so, it'll just there won't be any resistance. They're in for the long haul.
Yeah, I don't. This is one of those things. There are not enough transgender people. I was wondering about this. I was thinking, how many people are in this? How many people are actually transgender in America? Not too many. Because they change. They actually change every week. If you're a transgender person, you could change next week. We wouldn't even know it. Okay? Because all of a sudden you just changed your mind. Okay? And they do it all the time. But people who are homeless, people who have this issue or that issue, people who want to buy eggs, those things don't change. People who are out of job, those don't change. People who are, suffering from, especially the economy. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. Or the border. People are suffering as a result of bad border policy, and those things are not going to change. The whole transgender thing, that to me is not going to be something that's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Here's the last. I guess the last loop I'll throw at you. You remember Dylan Mulvaney?
Yeah.
Dylan Mulvaney, for those of you who are just watching the show, you don't remember Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney, a couple of years ago, became the face for Bud Light beer. Transgender male, I guess, whatever. It's a guy with a suit on, right? And you can call him whatever you want, but it's a guy with a girl's suit on. So he became the face of Bud Light. Bud Light rolled the dice, thought that that its base would be cool with it, and the folks at the people who drink Bud Light went, no, we're not getting this. The stock tanked, and the guy who pulled the trigger on this whole marketing campaign, he got fired because they just did not understand. Dylan Mulvaney is back in the news. This month is International Women's, a couple days ago was International Women's Day. Dylan Mulvaney became the face of, you guessed it, International Women's Day. Came on The View and started going, I know some of you don't accept me as a woman, but I hope that you do have a friend who you do accept as a woman, and that you can. I went, are you folks just nuts? This is a guy with a skirt on.
Yeah.
So I come back to you and say, why are they pushing this agenda? Please, you just gotta help me. There's got to be something.
It's for the long haul. It really, that's why they're going after the kids, because they understand you train the kids up the way he should go when he's old. Is just creating confusion. And as long as you can keep someone confused, you can control them. You can direct them in the way that you want them to go because you've created confusion. And so it's crazy for us because we haven't, really experienced it to this level like this. Now, I grew up in San Francisco, and so I've seen a lot, but this is way over the top now.
Over the top.
Yeah, and so they're really going after the kids. That's what I truly believe, because they know in another generation or so, if they keep the pressure up, it's going to be more and more and more and more until there won't be any of us left, and they can do whatever they want.
Well, I am hoping that does not happen. I'll tell you, because
Me too.
I think America, to tell you the truth, is a very a very open society. We accept all kinds of people. I mean, we really do. As a matter of fact, up in was it in someplace up in the New England area, they just here's how open America is, and it's kind of scary, to tell you the truth. They just elected a Muslim mayor and a Muslim city council, and they call themselves Little Palestine now. That they are, and so that's how open America is. We've got areas of America that, see, America is not a color, right? It's not a color, it's not a language or anything like that. It's really kind of something in our heart. And we accept all kinds of people. There's really not, and we've got little Tokyo, we got little China, we got, all kinds of things going on here. But this as a bridge, I think, has gone too far. Because of, especially because of the whole female, the whole male-female thing that's going on. As a matter of fact, this weekend, once again, it's a lot of stuff happening this weekend. That they were talking about transgender athletes. Males coming into female sports, blowing apart Title IX, that kind of stuff. And there was a girl that was on TV this week, and she was during the president's speech, actually. And she was a volleyball player. She got spiked on by a male athlete who just blew up her face, gave her, almost paralyzed her, hurt her, that kind of stuff. And so I think because of the fact that men can hurt women so badly in this whole thing, that this is a bridge that men and women and most of Americans are going, no, we're not. This is not something we're going to accept. And yet, in spite of all that, they're still pushing it. It's unlike the whole marriage thing, right? Where they're saying, well, we'll let you get married, okay? But but now they're saying, no, we want you to accept us into all phases of your life, even in women's sports. And I think there's going to be such a blowback on this. Mark my words on this. There's going to be such a blowback on this that I don't think transgender people are really reckoning on something like this. What do you think?
Yeah, there's going to be some blowback for sure. But let us remember that there was very little blowback with a different administration. Now, once these 4 years are up, and let's just hope things continue the way that they're going. But if it happens, we could be very vulnerable again with this. I agree. This is why we have domestic violence laws. It's to protect women, and now you got men wanting to be women, hurting women.
Yeah, I think there used to be laws against that, didn't it? I mean, if you go out and you just go up and slap your wife right now, you're probably going to go to jail, right?
No, ain't no probably. You will go to jail. There's no jail. Probably.
Right? But you can claim to be a woman and go into a sport and just beat the heck out of a woman.
Yeah.
And they go, so they had, what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg. She was on The View. And she says, you don't understand how strong women are. You just don't understand how strong. You never seen those women athletes? And I go, I don't care how big a woman athlete is. A 14-year-old boy can come up to a woman and beat the snot out of her. I don't care how big this woman is or how big unless she's UFC. Okay, there's a difference. Okay, difference between UFC women. Okay, some of them are pretty bad to the bone. Okay, but there's not too many women that can go toe to toe with a guy. And so I think we're at a place right now where our nation is on the precipice of saying we're done. We're done with the whole thing. Yeah. For those of you that are watching us for the first time, I'm Pastor Sherman. This is Pastor Tommy, and this is Christ and Culture. And we come to you once a week, talk to you about some of the things that are going on in the world, trends, that kind of stuff, and hopefully give you some kind of Christian outlook on all these things. So we're living in a new era right now, folks, and we encourage you to keep your eyes open. Wake up, America, wake up, church, because you really need to. We are on our new YouTube channel, and I'm going to take a look over there right now. I haven't taken a look in a while. But if you would like to, if you'd like to get in the conversation, go to our YouTube channel, and it's at Christ and Culture. So Christ and Culture, and you can get in on the conversation. We'd love for you to be on the conversation. We can actually see you now, and we encourage you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Okay, we're going to continue to fill that channel up. Right now, you can watch actually season 1, which is the entire season's up. Season 2, I think we're in show 12 or 13 or something like that right now, and so you can check that out. You can also check us out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Godstream TV, which is great, and of course all the other social media sites. But we encourage you to go ahead and check us out. We'd love to get into your living room. So there was a recently, Pastor Tommy. This is a story out of the AP, and many people have noticed this that on college campuses, Columbia, Barnard College, that there's been this uprise of anti-Semitism. And as a matter of fact, Pastor Tommy, it happened in our school today. It's happened the last 2 days. I've had kids write on the attendance roll, Heil Hitler, on the attendance roll. And I've been not too happy about this. Not at all.
They were taught that.
Yeah, and I actually asked, because it's come out of actually one kid stood up and said Heil Hitler in the middle of class. And I said, come here, little brother. Let's talk about this, okay? And we're in conversation now about this stuff. This is not, so the rise and these are junior high school kids, guys. So this is not a college campus. This is junior high school kids.
Right.
And they're learning it. And I won't tell you the whole thing yet because we're going to still talk to his teacher and talk to counselors because they're indoctrinating our kids. That's the scary part about it. But on Barnard College, Columbia College, as a matter of fact, there was this AP story. It says immigration agents have arrested a Palestinian activist who helped lead Columbia's university protest. And this is out of New York. Federal immigration authorities arrested a Palestinian activist Saturday who played a prominent role in the Columbia University's protest against Israel. A significant escalation in the Trump administration's pledge to detain and deport student activists. So his name is Mahmoud Khalil, and he's a graduate student over at Columbia. And he was there up until December, and he's married to an American woman. And so they arrested this guy. And they were going to deport him because part of his agreement to be, to have a green card here in America was that he would not, engage in this kind of stuff. And he decided, I guess he's going to go ahead and do it anyway. So he's been arrested, and they were going to deport him. Here's the problem with it. You had a judge who said, we're going to put a hold on this so they could not deport this guy. I don't get this. I've been watching these commentators talking about this, that they are well within their rights to tell this guy, see you later, to send him packing. But unfortunately, at this point, they're not going to be able to do that. Just saying, right now they're not going to be able to. But I'm going to guarantee I think he's going to be deported. What is with this anti-Semitism on college campuses, Pastor Tommy?
It's all orchestrated. It ain't a happenstance. It's all orchestrated, and just like we have good in the world, we got lots of evil, and that evil is trying to destroy the good. I'm trying to say it without really saying it. But yeah, there are people that are putting up big money to make sure that these things happen, to make sure that these events come together. And one thing I wondered when I was even younger, especially now, it's a whole lot easier, but I used to wonder, how did everybody know that there was going to be a demonstration? How did all those people knew to come together at a specific time, at a specific place? It's all orchestrated.
Yeah, sure.
They have people that they pay to, and wasn't he paid? Wasn't this guy paid?
To be a part of this, I would assume he probably would. Oh yeah.
I read that he was paid. He was paid to do that, and so that even makes it even more dangerous to get him out. That means he was selected.
Yeah, sure.
To make a point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and now we have judges, making those kinds of decisions, that makes you wonder who's really who, which is why maybe President Trump, I don't want to say he's paranoid, but he's like, nope, this person's got to go, this person's got to go, this has got to stop, this has got to go. Because we're just on this side of the TV. We don't know what's on the other side and what's being done. But I can tell you that all this stuff is orchestrated, and it's on purpose for a specific design. And that's what we're working with. This is what we got to pray so much.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like something is happening with our video here. I'm trying to... Oh. So pardon me if we have a problem with our video here, because we've got some weird things going on here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I would agree with you, Pastor Sherman. This is kind of the weirdness of what's going on in our country right now, where we're seeing special interest groups, not just interest groups, but special interest groups that are going out of their way to try to sabotage America. You've got people, and many people know who these people are. George Soros is one of them, who's got what they call the Open Society, and they're going around trying to do this. And here's the thing: I'm looking at Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi is the head of the DOJ, and she's the Attorney General, and she's gonna have to start looking into some of this stuff because people's lives are being endangered. This is not just a, oh gosh, somebody screamed, they yelled in a in a theater or something like this. These are paid activists, and these are deep pockets who are funded well. I'm wondering myself, does George Soros have this much money? Are his pockets that deep where he can give $1 million here, $1 million there? I think he's got a consortium of people who are doing this. I believe he's got a tranche of guys, 4 or 5 guys, maybe 20 or 30 families that are getting together going, we're going to do all we can to destabilize America. Because to what end? Why would you, I guess this begs the question, why would they do something this stupid to America when they know that this is the golden cow? I mean, why would they do something like this?
Definitely not money. It goes back to what I mentioned earlier. It's all about power. And, it makes me wonder too and think about scripture. There is no place in scripture, on the surface anyway. We know that the scripture is layered, but there's nothing mentioned about America in the last days. And we know for sure that we're in the last days. And it makes me wonder, is this country going to be around? Is this country going to be in a place of authority and in the position that it's been in for the last 250 years? It just makes me wonder, if something drastic is going to take place, and maybe Trump is the last hurrah to try and get it back together and get the money, because this country is broke. A lot of people don't know that. We can say our economy's humming and all this, but we have printed so much money. We're so in debt that the debt payments that we have outweigh the income. So we're continually getting deeper and deeper in debt. And you can only do that for so long before you're bankrupt, So yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, it just drives me crazy to find out. And we
I
want
can't
to
hear you.
apologize. Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry. I can actually hear you. So I really want to apologize, folks. We've got some technical difficulties here, and we're trying to deal with them right now. And so if I don't have Pastor Tommy the rest of the show, it's because we're just having some technical difficulties. Okay, so I'm going to let Pastor Tommy go. I'm going to finish up the show without him because I think our audio is gone. Let me send him a real quick note and let him know that I will. All right. Okay. So we've had some issues with the show before, and every once in a while you'll hit a button or something like that, and we'll and so every once in a while that happens or something like that, and it's fine. We'll finish up. So a couple other things that happened on the broadcast was that the Supreme Court is going to take up bans on conversion therapy for LGBTQ. And this is something that I think is, once again, it goes to the heart of what's going on with us as an American society. Do we allow, and do we allow our teenage kids to be mutilated as a result of special interest groups? So this story is out of SRN News, an AP story. It says the Supreme Court agreed on Monday in a case for Colorado to decide whether state and local governments can enforce laws banning conversion therapy for LGBTQ children. Wow, LGBTQ plus children. Isn't every kid a LGBTQ plus child? And I want you to understand this, folks. I work with kids, and I see kids go through phases all the time. And guess what? Kids have no idea what they are. They don't know who they are, especially children. They just don't know. Their little boy wants to be a little girl this week, and then next week he wants to play football. Okay, but in some states they go, nope, that's our opportunity. All right, let's go ahead and let's cut them up, and we'll make them into something that they can never change. So the conservative-led court is taking up the case amid actions by President Donald Trump targeting transgender people, including a ban on military service and an end to federal funding for gender-affirming care for transgender minors. And so we want to take our hats off to President Trump on this, because as we said before, you've got a lot of kids out there who just don't know who they are. And adults who are trying to take advantage of the situation, and doctors who are taking advantage of the situation. It has become a big money for hospitals to go out and do what they call gender affirming care on 12, 13, 14-year-old kids. The price tag on breast augmentation, breast reduction, cutting parts off, all the drugs and the therapies and all the things they do for a kid 2 years later to go, I made a mistake. Okay? You can't even, and I know this, you can't even give a kid in a school an aspirin, but you can't even clean out a wound. Okay? And there's certain things, I couldn't even, if a kid got a sliver, get this, if a kid got a sliver in his finger, I could not take a pair of tweezers and take that thing out. I would actually have to call a nurse and have them do it. And yet, in schools, they're saying, oh no, kids, we are not only going to allow your fantasies to come true, but we're not going to tell your parents. Matter of fact, we're not going to tell your parents at all that you are going through anything in your life. And so we want to thank President Trump for doing what he's doing, because sometimes you just got to say to yourself, my gosh, I can't imagine that these kids are going through the stuff they're going, and I just don't understand. I really don't. Once again, for those folks you're just watching the show, I'm Pastor Sherman, and we had Pastor Tommy on. We had some technical difficulties. We lost the sound with him, but we'll be back on it with him next week. This is Christ and Culture, and so we come to you about once a week, talk to you about some of the cool things that are going on in the culture, and some of the things that are maybe a concern for us, and that you should probably be looking at and saying to yourself, hey, you know what, maybe we should pay a little bit more attention to that, because it is it's something that concerns us. This story is out of the Christian Post, and President Trump is about to end the Department of Education, and the title says, good. This says President Trump wants to abolish the Department of Education. Sounds outrageous to some. Writing for The Hill, Hawkins notes the Trump administration is reportedly preparing an executive order that could eliminate or roll back significant parts of the Department of Education, a move that has already received significant criticism from Trump's political opponents. Here's the deal with the Department of Education, and many of you have heard this before, that we as a nation are ranked the 40th country, number 40, in the nation's modern industrialized nations when it comes to education. Finland is number one as saying that they do the best with their kids. And yet we are the number one country in the amount of money we spend on our kids. So per student, we spend the most, and yet we're one of the worst places in the world for education. And that's wrong. I mean, it is so wrong, it's ridiculous. And so the Department of Education, which was started under the Jimmy Carter administration, so it was well within the last 60 years, takes all that money, distributes it out. They take their cut. They do, Is there a reason to have the Department of Education? The Trump administration says no, that there isn't. And so Linda McMahon, who's the head of the education department right now, is doing all she can right now to try to shore up, to try to find ways of doing things better in the Department of Education, and we wish her well. As a matter of fact, Marco Rubio, talking about cabinet members, Marco Rubio, where's that article at? Marco Rubio has dwindled down USAID. Many of you heard about USAID over the last couple of weeks. And let me find that article. It's really very... Marco Rubio, our Secretary of State, who is now the head over USAID. It was a organization that had well over 10,000 people. They are down to like 300 people now. I think it's probably close to that. So this story is out of an AP story. It says Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Monday that the Trump administration has finished its 6-week purge of programs of the 6-decade-old U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, cutting 83% of the staff, and said he would move the remaining aid programs under the State Department. So USAID was a separate entity. They had their own building. They were doing all their cool stuff that they thought. Spending your money, spending my money on things that had nothing to do with U.S. aid. Now, here's what the Trump administration was saying. They were saying that they were going to take those programs that were really doing well, because there's some things that USAID did well. Drugs, okay, that they were trying to stop the spread of certain diseases, that kind of stuff. So those things they were doing well. But then there was money that was being funneled out to these, what they call NGOs, non-government organizations. And once that money, a tranche of money, let's say $20 billion, goes to this NGO, then that money basically goes up in smoke. You have no idea where the money went to, because those NGOs are not required to tell USAID, who provided that money, where all that money is going to. So the Trump administration under Doge said, these people are using that money for things that you don't need. And the Trump administration says, we're done. We're done paying all that money. And I guess that comes back to the thing we were talking about before, is why people are so upset about this. Why are people so upset at Elon Musk for doing his job? There was a British, I don't know if he was a journalist or he was somebody speaking on behalf of Britain, said, mate, you guys are he's the best. I can't believe it. That you guys have got Elon Musk working for free, the richest man on the planet. You got him working for free, doing this. He's doing an entire audit of your government, and people are upset about this? Are you kidding me? Here's the thing about it. Democrats are upset at the process. They're upset at the process of what Elon Musk is doing, because they believe that they're the ones who are supposed to do this. Well, here's the thing about it. If you thought you were the one supposed to do it, why didn't you do it? You've had years. Okay, Nancy Pelosi's been sitting in there in Congress for 50 years. Why didn't she do it? Chuck Schumer, been in Senate years. He hadn't do it, okay? You know, all these guys that are out there just hammering and jumping up and down saying, oh, that this is bad, that Elon Musk is doing. If you were so upset about Elon Musk doing your job, you should have done it yourself. As a matter of fact, you should be fired, because that is your job. There's this woman by the name of Crockett, and she's talking about, oh gosh, these people are these illegal aliens that are coming in, that they're not illegal. Hey, wait a minute, lady, you're stupid. You're just stupid. There is a section in our laws right now that says if you come in here illegally, then it is a federal offense. It's a misdemeanor, but you can be going. But if you can go to jail for it, it's called breaking the law. And yes, it is punishable by going to jail. It is punishable by you being kicked out of this country. So if those folks that are in Congress, those people who are in the Senate, are so upset at Elon Musk for doing your job, then maybe you should shut up and just say, hey, thank you, Elon. Thank you, and we want to help you, okay? Instead of endangering his life for him doing your job. Or are you doing it for another reason? That's my question. Are you doing it for another reason? Because if you're doing it for another reason, then maybe, folks, maybe we ought to find out why. Maybe we should follow the money trail. Find out where all this money is going to. Maybe we should follow the money trail and find out if it doesn't show up in Chuck Schumer's backyard. Maybe it comes into Eric Swalwell. Maybe it falls. Maybe it ends up in Hakeem Jeffries' backyard. Okay. Maybe this money trail leads straight to Nancy Pelosi. All you people. And that's why you're fighting so hard for Elon Musk to stop. Stop, Elon. Okay? They don't... I'm... Okay, I don't have time to go on this whole thing. But I am of the opinion that one of the reasons why Donald Trump there was so much pushback for Donald Trump to get into office was because of this very thing that's happening right now. Because people would find out about all of this money and all of this largesse, all this stuff that's going on in our federal government, and they did not want anybody to find out that any of this was happening. I'm firmly of that opinion. That once they got him out of office, see when Hillary Clinton was going to be in office, they knew, woohoo, we got it. Hillary's going to be in office. Great, Hillary's going to be in. We're all going to make money. Okay, she didn't make it. Okay, which meant, guess what? That meant that the gravy train was ended. But wait a minute, if we don't get our money, that means somebody's going to find out that money's there. Somebody's going to find out about this. Okay, Barack Obama made his money. Okay, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, they've been sucking that teat, the government teat, for years. Somebody showed them how to do all this stuff. Okay, anyways, now Donald Trump is running for office again. It looks like he actually might be a president. And guess what he's probably going to do? He's going to look under that sheet and he's going to see what happens. He's going to look under that sheet and he's going to find out what we've been doing all these years. You see, USAID was started 60 years ago. Okay? I know, because it started about the time I was born. And when it was started by, I believe it was John Kennedy, that it was probably started as a noble cause, but very quickly it became evident to the powers that be that this was something they could make a lot of money at. Because there's a lot of money filtering through that. And guess what? Nobody knows where that money's coming from, and they don't know where it's going. Because once it goes out of the country, they can go to this bank account or bank. Okay? Fast forward now, 2019. Hillary Clinton's going to get into office. She's going, I'm getting me some of that money. Got some of my friends. Because you've been wondering how the Democrats are able to find all this money to do all the stuff they're doing, okay? Not saying that they did it from USAID, but I bet you they got it from the federal government. I can guarantee you there's a slush fund in every department. And they were fearful that Donald Trump would find out about this. And now guess what? Dang it, he found out. So what are they going to do? They got to stop him. So guys, we need to pray. We need to pray for Donald Trump. We need to pray for Elon Musk. We need to pray for those folks that are out there fighting for us. Because guess what, folks? If they don't do it now, heaven help the United States of America. Well, anyways, folks, I want to thank you all for being a part of the broadcast. I want to apologize once again. We had some technical difficulties. Looks like, sometimes that happens. It does. But we'll try to get it fixed by next week. And hopefully, guys, we will be able to bring Pastor Tommy back on and have some good conversation. Anyways, this has been Pastor Sherman for Christ and Culture. want to thank you all for checking out the show. Tell all your friends. Tell your friends all about the broadcast and let them know that we're on. You can find us once again. You can find us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Our YouTube channel, our new YouTube channel, seasons 1 and 2 are up now. Or on Godstream TV, guys. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're on. Okay. Anyways, it's been Pastor Sherman Ray. We will see you again next week for more of Christ and Culture, you guys. Have a wonderful day in the Lord. We will see you guys later. Bye-bye.